Hello and welcome. Today I'm counting down my top 10 strongest BattleBots I've made. So, honorable mentions, we have Captain Shredderator and Monsoon. Monsoon did not get to show what it could truly do during the season. It was upset very quickly. If it could have, it would have been a lot more. This is one of the only ones that can gyro dance. Before I fixed its weapon, now it's really stable and can. Captain Shredderator, it's one of the hardest hittings, but it does not stay spinning that long compared to the other ones. And it's kind of sad, but it's very good, and it's number 11. The number 10 is Bronco. It's got one of the highest flips recorded. Most people would think it should not be here, I feel like, but it is one of the most powerful. It was able to just flip some bots so high that I actually lost track of them, and when they came crashing down, I was like, what happened? So it's probably one of the most powerful, as it's very long for some bots, and I might rebuild it to make it shorter, have a back wedge and everything, but that'll be later. Right now, I'm going to upgrade its flipper and make it stronger, so it does not keep flying off. Now, number 9, we have Storm Chaser. One of the only other full body spinners here. This has really shown that it can win, but it's having some issues with its design lately. It really goes crazy and it can't self-right. So yeah, that's basically how Storm Chaser reacts. It's very, very good. If it was better, I might actually rebuild it to look more like Gigabyte in a way, to have longer pods though. So, just see how next season plays out. Now we have Disco Doom. Once again, a bot that did not get to show what it truly could do. This thing is powerful. In its test fight that I showed, it was actually really good. It's one of the best test fights I've done. Hopefully, in Season 4, it'll do better, but until then, it's just going to be here. Number 7 is Torpedo. And, well, Season 1 champion. It did decent this season. It will have some upgrades next season, and I might actually build another shell for it where it's actually a true full body spinner instead of the what I call a reverse style, where the shell's up and the wings are not down. I'd have to find a lot of parts in order to do that though. But being one of the most powerful, it does get upset a lot because of how tall it is. And Titan and Vortex, and part of my French, are probably the best bots to uppercut it and send it apart. Titan did beat it in Season 3, and Vortex has actually never fought it as far as I know of. I don't remember it, but if it did, it was something. So, yeah. Number 6, we have Hydra. The highest, the robot to flip a bot, the highest. It actually sent Bronco to the ceiling and back down. This thing is just unstoppable until Season 3 happened and it lost its first battle, and then eventually it lost to Warhawk, where pretty much Tombstone was able to skate on by to win its championship, which he is on this list. So it's a lot different than Bronco. It's really short and its flipper is really bulky, and when it broke off, I was actually surprised. What Tombstone did was basically just cut that off, and without that, it cannot flip up or else it'll just fall off. And then it becomes pretty much just a wedge bot or a good control bot. In order to do that, that has to be up, and that's why Tombstone was able to rip this side off. As you can see some of the dents on it and everything. Speaking of dents and everything, the battle scars from the first Torpedo fight still on the little piece that holds the flipper together. This is nowhere near what it looked like in Season 1. It was a lot more bulkier in the back. Number 5, Titan. This is my channel picture bot. It is very good, and it still hasn't won a championship. It's just so unlucky. It almost won against Hydra. It didn't almost win against Tombstone to move on to the finals. It got very unlucky with a flip, and then Tombstone came by and took off its self-rider and ended the battle. Now, before the self-rider was built this way, and everything, how much taller it is, I was actually able to self-ride it by the weapon just spinning on the ground. It would flip over. Eventually, that got really hard to do, and it would stop doing after time. So I did rebuild it to have a self-rider. Imagine how different it would be if this never had a self-rider. It probably would not have won a lot of fights. Number 4, Ice Wave. Ever since I've rebuilt this bot, it has just been unstoppable until Tombstone got a hold of it and won. But the championship bot, well, championship finalist, it did really good. I had a feeling it would actually win against Tombstone, but, well, Tombstone's just that much stronger. So, Ice Wave's blade is actually heavier than it was before. It spins faster, it's a lot more accurate to the actual bot, and it's probably one of my favorite looking bots right now. I do plan to change it to its 2020 form soon, though, so hope you guys like the original Ice Wave, and then the second gen Ice Wave. Number 3, Gigabyte. One of the highest full body spinner. Does not surprise me, it's that most powerful, fastest spinning, and longest spinning here. Now, Gigabyte, I'm going to try to find ones that these actually spin with the back over here and hit. Those take time, though. We don't have many of them. And its top right here, I need to find another one. The green pieces, the original flew off, and I've never found it. But this thing, there was actually a part that made it really unstable, and ever since I found that, this thing it was almost unstoppable. Ice Wave ended up ripping the yellow pod off, which was shocking. But it did have some serious hits, and Ice Wave is very powerful compared to it. And they're kind of equal, but Ice Wave still has the edge. Why did I put Gigabyte ahead of him? Heavier weapon does more damage. I mean, it split Vortex in half, which Vortex is our number 2 spot. This thing is very good for a vertical bar. It launched in-game off and over the Lexan over here, over it and out in an off-camera fight. Why I was not recording, I'll never know. It was one of its first fights, but this bar actually started off for a part of my French, which eventually was put back to its normal weapon, because I was just testing what this bar would do, and ever since then, I decided to build it like this. This thing is horrible if it has to go to a control fight. It's got so many slopes on it that it would actually just get flipped very easily. It can get stuck like that sometimes. It has to be very lucky, or unlucky, I guess. But it can happen. I've seen it happen. And flip, it cannot self-right. Wait, see if it does what Titan used to. Nope. Kind of what Titan used to, only was flip, but I do plan to build part of my French to have a bar like this, but not as big. And then the number 1 seed, Tombstone. Who else would it be? I mean, this thing is won championship. It had to defeat some very good bots. Although its championship battle did go almost 10 minutes. That's insane. It would not have been here a few seasons ago as it was not as powerful. But once I rebuilt it to have a better weapon, this thing's huge now. It was unbeatable. But I was actually really shocked when it beat Hydra. And when it made its run to the title, I was like, wow. But the thing is, if it goes up against if it goes up against a good vertical spinner, and it gets a hit right here, this piece will fly off, and now it's very weak and probably will be upset. If it gets hit here, just this little armor panel will fly off, which is just weird to look at with it off. I'm so used to it with it on now. At one point, Tombstone did not look anywhere near this. Its wheels were closer to the body. It had just a gray paneling on top with the black around it with these gray on the side. These have always been here, actually. But the bottom would always fall off for some reason before I rebuild it. That's why I rebuilt it to be like this, so the body would not fall off. This is its red bar with teeth. This is probably its most powerful, in my opinion. But, yeah. So that was my top 10 list. Do you guys want to see a top 10 least powerful bot list? That'd be awesome. Just put that in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.